Hello everyone, welcome to Junkcast. Today we are going to see how to create custom checkbox using CSS. Ca- If you look at the code in the left hand side where I have written input type checkbox and name check and value yes, by default the native design of the checkbox is the one which is on the right hand side with a small boxes and the label yes. If I'm going to choose the label yes, then the box will be occupied with the background color blue with a tick mark. So, as I mentioned in that video, today we are going to see like how to create a custom checkbox based on a requirement. If we consider the recent design patterns such as like material design or any other UX patterns pattern, you can notice like the checkbox is pretty much bigger in size, and we can customize the background color of the and it has a different color variation in the background color, and the tick mark which they have has a various sizes. Let's look at how the material design checkbox looks like. If I take this material design checkboxes, this one is pretty much like a square shape with a background color as violet and a tick mark in that. So let's go and develop a custom checkbox using a CSS. So basically the idea is like hide the input box and just use a label, and top of the label we are going to use the pseudo classes before, and on before we are going to apply the background and the tick mark. Let's go and so this is the first method I'm going to show you, and the next method we will show the same kind of custom checkbox with the approach something like having a div container called background. On that background we are going to apply the box and the tick mark. Let's go and look at the first method. So input type checkbox and ID check, name check, value yes, and label for check. So this is my default syntax for checkbox. So let's have a page with a body color, background color. Let's set a background color of our page. Body, background, and I'm going to give you like hash f2 f2 f2. And also I just want to share you like I'm using HTTP server for hosting my static files. Sometimes it will take time to get the CSS reflected. Let's see what happens here. Let me clear the cache. Yes, so background color was applied. So now as the first one, then as I said, I mentioned in the video, we want to hide the checkbox. So the syntax is something like input so type equal to checkbox. So we are hiding the checkbox type using at the attribute level, display none. Okay, let me refresh the page. Yeah, so now the input was hidden. Now we want to decorate the label, which I'm showing the label yes one. So for that, what I should do now, like I'm going to start with like input type equal to checkbox, then plus I want to target only the label which is after the input type checkbox. So plus label, then say display block, and then I'm setting a margin of 2 rem, then padding as 2 rem. So if you take the if you look at the S, right, the default cursor is not a we are not getting that clickable sign, which is a pointer. So in order to make that, I'm just saying like cursor pointer. Let me refresh the page again. Yeah, So now I'm giving the cursor pointer. So we just give a spacing for the label. Now we want to decorate the label with the border, radius, border, and the background, and even the tick mark. So input. I'm just going to copy this one and before. Now I'm going to show you like border to px solid 000, and this one I'm going to say like display inline block. So instead of block, I'm going to give inline block, since with inline block I can able to set the width and height of the block element. So here I'm giving the width as 1 rem, height as 1 rem. Okay, let me refresh this one. Okay. Now I'm going to give this content. The content will hold that value to be displayed. Let's say like I can give like hello here. Now I'll refresh the page. Yeah. So if you look at here in my left hand side, we have a box, and inside the box the content is hello. So now I'm going to use a hex code for the tick symbol 2714. Since most of the recent browsers are supporting the hex code, I'm just going with the hex code itself instead of using an SVG image or what. So yeah, now we got the hex tick mark within that box. Okay, so we just gave all those things, and I'm just setting the color as transparent. So let's check what is the color. Yeah. Okay, so by default I'm using the color transparent, and vertical align as bottom, and we want to have a space from the checkbox box and the values. So I'm giving like margin right as 1 rem. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now what we should do next. So we gave so we have had hidden the default native checkbox, and we have set a spacing for the label, and on top of the label before we have created a border box, and for that box we have a content hex code with it. That content hex code will render it as a tick mark. Now whenever the user is going to check the checkbox, we want to show the background color with a custom background color and the check mark. So now like input, again like input type equal to checkbox, then plus colon checked. So this is basically a pseudo of that input checkbox, plus label before. Now we just apply like background color as green, and border color as green, and we just want to get, and the color of the font, in this case the color will be the hex code. Basically it's a tick mark color. I'm giving it as white. Let's refresh the page. So if I'm going to click on the label, the checkbox was checked. If not, the checkbox also. So finally we have created a custom checkbox with a CSS style using CSS. So this is basically method one of creating a